you don't mind, I'll just sort of start at the beginning. This was the mid '90s, and at the time, the economy was not terribly good, and a lot of the downtown churches, and I was at Old St. Patrick's Church, we had ministries to the unemployed, and we were all trying to do our best to support not only the people in our church community, but the downtown workforce. And so the first step in the evolving journey that eventually became the Career Transition Center is 5 downtown churches decided to form what was at that time called the Career Transitions Network. And this was probably around 1995. And these 5 churches, in our collaboration with one another, we retooled the ministry work that we were doing so that there was an opportunity for folks who are in transition to go somewhere every day, Monday through Friday, to receive a different type of resource from each of the 5 locations to help them with the mechanics of their job search. So that was the first big step in the evolution of the Career Transition Center. And then I would say the second big step was we started doing a retreat for those who were out of work, a weekend experience that gave people an opportunity to step away from, their job search and really attend to the psychological and the spiritual dimensions of being in transition.
The Career Transition Center was founded by 5 downtown faith communities in 1997 because they recognized that there were no places for professionals to go to get career assistance if they didn't get outplacement. So they came together as a coalition to put the seed money together to found CTC. They pulled coaches from their congregations. They solicited donations from the pulpit. We're not a faith-based organization, but we have a rich history in working with faith communities and their social justice arms.
I knew when I signed up for the coaching certification training, I set an intention for myself that once I got this, I wanted to come back to CTC as a volunteer, as a way, to give back to CTC. And basically that's kind of, how it went in terms of hearing about CTC, joining CTC, and really using CTC services to help me with discovery.
With this work, this is why I keep coming back, because of the fulfillment. There's nothing more fulfilling than to help someone change their lives.
I'm not the only person going through this. And so, like I tell clients when I do the workshops, hey, I'm not the expert, I'm a student, because I was going through and have gone through a lot of this myself. How can I learn from others and bring the best forward? So it's been a joy to coach the clients as well as to give them some skills in this area, whether you want to call it emotional well-being, emotional health, because that's part of who's going through this process.
I love the addition of the discovery period, where people who are in transition or job seeking need to think through what they want to do, and that gives them kind of a title for that activity.
But it was pretty clear from the outset that CTC was different. The focus was not just let's get started doing what you need to do, to get another job.
This is a good place to really find out what your skills are, find out where you fit, and recognize that it's kind of a process that you have to follow through on.
Being unemployed by yourself is isolating, and I was looking for a community of support. I was looking for a place where I could talk to other people going through the experience. I hadn't looked for a job in about 10, 15 years, and I found that. I found a peer group. I found an amazing coach who I am still friends with to this day, as well as really robust programming.
Different. I can't emphasize enough that probably encircling, enrobing CTC is the community. And whether the community is other clients, the coaches, the workshop facilitators, the staff, I mean, you name it, the community is there and ready to support people.
So I think it's our community of support and our effort to normalize mental health issues and to normalize the experience of being unemployed. We need to normalize that, help people come to grips with it, not feel bad about it, and just.
CTC is a very positive environment, and it recognizes the importance of employment in our lives, how vitally important it is to have jobs and to earn a living.
What I generally tell people is that one of the things they will like about CTC is that the coaches are there because they want to be there.
The wonderful thing that I appreciate from the CTC is its holistic approach. They take a look at each individual and try to figure out all those things that I just talked about and how that could potentially relate to whatever their next step might be in their career.
And CTC is all about offering so many different kinds of workshops, whether it's the hardcore skills that are needed to actually look for jobs, to get out there, to apply for jobs, but also sort of this softer side, if you will, which is more about, you know, looking inward and just dealing with some of the psychological, emotional, you know, challenges that we face.
What CTC has on top of that are the volunteers. These are not people who, this is not their job. This is their passion. And it reflects in the way they show up. It reflects in the, you know, the help that they give. So they're not just sitting you in front of someone who can help you based on their life experience or career experience. They're coupling it with this fantastic technology, teaching the clients how to use it.
And I could tell from that first contact I had with them that I was going to be in good hands and get a lot of support on my path back to employment. It was certainly the practical help that they offered that was great. And just being around people who showed me kindness, knew how to help me, was a big morale boost at a time when I was in the path towards getting a new job. So
the CTC community is very supportive and helpful, whether it's people in the weekly peer groups or CTC's private LinkedIn group. With each peer group, each workshop, we're learning about each other and both our job histories and our job search goals. And it's in those sessions that sometimes we're able to see strengths in another member that they don't see in themselves.
That they use, but basically these sort of group support sessions that would happen on a weekly basis, the opportunity to draw motivation from other people and to motivate others who are in a similar position of looking for meaningful work.
I am probably unique in this way in that I've been a CTC client, I've been a CTC coach, and I'm also a partner on the university side with the CTC. You know, having gone through it as a client, I guess allows me to speak so confidently about the CTC and the services that it can provide, because it was such a benefit to myself when I went into transition.
So our goal is to give people hope, provide a community of support, and ensure that they are in a better place emotionally and professionally than when we found them. And we want them to continue to be a part of our community of support. We have about 1,500 people right now active in our private client coach LinkedIn group, post job postings, articles, and we want to see people continue to engage, share job leads, and be networking resources to one another.
The peer group sessions that were had were critically important because, as I mentioned, I was going through this in the Great Recession. So the challenges were immense. Even if you just wanted to transition from, one position to another position in the same industry, let alone transitioning in a completely different industry. And the support that I got from my fellow peers who were going through job search at the same time, that roller coaster ride and the ups and the downs were very, very beneficial to me and helped me through a rough time. That is for sure.
CTC is just brilliant in the work that it does because it offers people this opportunity to step into a kind of a temporary community in their journey, in their career journey, but it's a community that really provides the essentials for helping them move through their time of transition. Because again, when we're in job transition, it's a time that is just fraught with uncertainty, struggle, a lot of threat. And at the same time, it's a time that has possibility and opportunity and the hope for new beginnings. Like this is a chance for me to do something different. And so CTC serves as both a compass as well as a support structure for helping individuals live into that next chapter of their life. And again, I think it's so unique in terms of an organization because there's just not a lot of other organizations and support structures for folks who are in the throes of transition, job transition, that are like this.
CTC founded to help people who were mid-career, who there was a time in the 70s and 80s and 90s when people were being laid off. They had middle management positions. They hadn't looked for jobs in decades. And now they were stunned to lose their job. And that was a population in great need because there was a lot of ageism going on and people didn't know what to do in order to find a new position.
What I loved about being a discovery coach was I have no answers, none whatsoever, but I got to experience the joy of supporting clients who didn't perhaps even realize they wanted to do that kind of work, but then to actually start doing it and help kind of guide them, through that process and to just see all of the light bulbs that could come on and really energize people. You hear the theme over and over where people get the message that they're not on this journey alone.
Understanding those key elements of the search, right? That you really do need to understand yourself, your strengths, skills, and abilities, and where that could potentially lead. And if we, as professionals, can be teaching that to our students while they're in college, those are lifelong skills that they'll be able to apply that will benefit them for the rest of their career.
I think there continues to be an important role for us in the youth services. We know that there's a lot of structural racism. There's class and economic barriers to upward mobility. And I think we have a role to play in that by providing young people with access to a really robust network of professionals who can help them find their jobs, coaches who they could never afford on their own because our coaches many of them have their own private practice and are way beyond what a young person could afford. It's the things that bring me the greatest joy are when someone calls or emails and said they found a job and it is meaningful and it's going to help them get back on their feet emotionally, professionally, and financially. It is.
They've seen an increase in the percentage of job seekers who are currently employed but wanting to avail themselves of CTC services. So there are, I feel, a lot more evening events scheduled now than back in 2018. We now, at this point in 2024, we have about 60 volunteer coaches that do volunteer work with the clients directly as coaches. We've got people that facilitate programs. We've got some incredibly talented volunteers who donate their time. Now serves first generation college students from the West Side in particular. And we provide a boot camp and then career coaching to help them find internships during college and to find jobs after graduation. We've very much evolved with the times. We've been teaching workshops on AI, how it impacts the job search, how to use ChatGPT. We are very mindful of the mental health needs of our clients. We're doing a lot of programming around emotional resilience, stress management. We're not ignoring the fact that networking is, in fact, the most important thing that you can do during job search. But we definitely believe that there's a role for AI, ChatGPT, and we teach them how to successfully combine those two components.
Our team had to literally shift in one day to offering all of our services virtually. And so we actually did that. It was very bumpy, but I will say that the coaches were unbelievable. My goal, my intent was that how can we replicate as best possible the CTC in-person experience in a virtual realm as much as possible. And who'd have thunk we were doing that for still doing it.
I think there is no doubt that we will continue to be primarily remote to meet people where they're at. We are so unique. There's really not a lot of other organizations like us. There's one or two in Illinois, and I haven't seen too many that are at scale around the country. I think it's going to be important for us to expand in order to meet the need of professionals who are in transition, particularly if it's involuntary. And I think it would be wonderful if we could see like a 50-50 split. So we know we were serving people, beyond Illinois who need help. We have an important role in ensuring equitable access to technology and learning how to use ChatGPT. When I've done workshops on AI and ChatGPT, out of a group of 20, there'll maybe be 2 who ever worked with ChatGPT. We need to get older people and younger people. Even among the young people, when I do workshops on AI, maybe out of a group of 10 or 15, maybe 1, we need to increase access to tools. It's free, it's easy to use. You don't have to be a prompt engineer to use it well. And I think part of what we need to do is to help people become comfortable with technology and the job search so that they can compete.
So I really think CTC has its eye on the trends of the marketplace and the needs of various kinds of clients. Well, much to my surprise, remote has opened up the geography, both in the classroom and in at CTC, and now we're not Chicago based. But
one of the things that we'd like to do is to diversify the clients we work with. Predominantly, probably 60% are Caucasian right now, and I'd like to see a much more demographically diverse client population. And that way, we're meeting the people that need us.
I'm gratified to see CTC expanding in both directions age-wise. It has made itself available through partnerships and clients to younger people seeking jobs, and they need to learn those skills and learn those techniques, and also to older people who are transitioning out of full-time work and maybe into retirement and trying to figure out how to do that in a purposeful way. So
100% virtual. We do some hybrid programming. We can now serve people all over the country. Probably right now, about 80% of our clients are in Illinois, 20% are outside. Our coaches, about the same, about 80% in Illinois, 20% outside. I see that growing. I think the sky's the limit when you have a virtual platform.
It's such an amazing contribution of their time and their talent and their generosity, that makes this community possible, right? Because without all of them, whether it be the folks, who are serving on the paid professional leadership team or all those many volunteers, I mean, they're the real foundation. That's what makes CTC what it is today and what it's always been is the involvement of those very special people.